Happy Friday, all. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. We are going to finish the Aurifil block of the month tonight. It is the Sardinia block. It's foundation paper piecing, and I'm just loving this process so far. So thank you guys for joining me. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for the beginning crafter. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. That's 9:30 Eastern and 6:30 Pacific. And it's a time that we can relax and craft together. So thank you guys for joining me. We are, like I said, we are finishing the Aurifil block of the month. We have all of the pieces. So there's our top piece with our foundation behind it, our paper foundation. We have our two heart side pieces and our bottom like mountain piece here. And we are going to be going over how to put together your pieces now, or like each section, now that you have the sections complete. So for example, this is the D section. It has a D1 right there. Each of those sections we are going to be putting together. And we also have to cut a couple more pieces to finish this guy. So I'm hoping we can finish tonight. This is a little bit of a process to get all these together and have all the points match and everything. So I appreciate you guys being here. Let's get going. Okay, I think this is looking so fun. So again, here's how far we are, and I have this guy. So we need to cut out these two pieces yet, but I think we'll start assembling this first. So the first two things that we'll be assembling are these guys right here. And there's actually a few points that we need to pay attention to. Ideally, you know, we want these points, except for a 1/4 inch in, we want those to match. So let's actually, if we're sewing them together, we're sewing them along that line. Ultimately, when we open them, we want those points matching, and we want these points down here matching. And that can be actually pretty tricky with foundation paper piecing. So I use a pin technique for that. So let's grab a couple pins. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna grab some Wonder clips as well too. So these are those super strong clips. I find that these come in helpful at this point too, but you can use pins. You'll want a pin for sure, so we can match them, but you know, you might want some of these guys to put them to hold everything together. All right, I'm looking at your comments here. Okay, so it looks like we got Facebook working again today, so thanks Facebook peeps coming in, and hello to my YouTube peeps. All right, so let's take a look at this. We want to put these two together. In theory, they go right sides together. So you could just sew right down that line, but again, we want these points to match up as perfect as we can, because what we don't want is, like, you know, one slid up a little and then, you know, then they're not matching. One is a little bit higher. So what we're going to look at is where the line that we're going to sew on, where that matches a seam that we already have. So I'm actually going to go through the back side, and I'm going to put a pin right through that point, like straight down through that point. Let's see, you know, it comes up here. It came up a little bit on that side of the fabric. I actually want it right in the middle of the seam, so I'm just going to kind of adjust. There we go. So now I'm right in that seam with the needle, straight through, and I'm also going right through that point. Okay, so now we need to go through the other side and like right there and come out of that same point. So I just kind of start by guessing. So I'm going to go right in the seam because I want that seam to match. I'm going about a 1/4 inch away, and I'm just going to go straight in. I don't want to angle in. I don't want to, like, you know, I don't want to angle in this way. I want to go straight in. All right, it looks like I can go up a hair. I'm not quite on that line. So let's scooch just a teeny bit up, go straight in again. I think we can do a hair better. All right, how are we now? All right, we're pretty good. We're pretty on that line, I would say. Okay, so now we've got both of our pieces kind of balancing on this pin. The right sides are together. All right, let's just squish them together on the pin. Try and line up our edge. But now you can see my pin is at an angle here. We want that perfectly straight this way, and we want it perfectly straight in every direction, really. Because otherwise, if we sew now, they're actually shifted, right? There's a lot of thickness here, so it being at an angle is one side's going to be down a little bit more. So if we just take the pin and move it till it's super straight, we're straight upright, we're straight that way, straight that way. Okay, I'm thinking that's looking pretty good. So at this point, both of our points should be matched up just perfectly. So while they're matched up perfectly, I'm going to grab one of my clips and we're going to lock that in place. So, boop, there we go. So now I can remove this pin. And when we sew along that line, now our 2 points should match up perfectly. But we have another point. So we have this one down here. I'm going to do the same thing down there. And actually it looks like my points I didn't match those up perfectly. So I'm going to actually just stick this straight through again. All right, that was pretty good. And I'm going to redo that because I need that edge matched up. Oh, well, now it looks pretty well matched up. Definitely finicky at this point, but it does help to get everything, all those points matching. Okay. Now let's do this other one. Let's see if I can just go right through to the other side. It should be, yeah, we're pretty close. We're close enough because we did a good job over here. So this side should just line up, and it is. This is looking pretty straight, and we are through that point and that point. So I think we're good. Let's grab that extra clip and put it down there. And there we are. So now we should be able to sew along this edge, the 1/4 inch in, and then we should have some matching points. So that's the plan here. All right, jump into the machine. So I hope everyone is doing well tonight. I'm excited that we will get this guy done. Always fun to finish another block. It can be putsy doing all of this little end assembly stuff, but it does help. It does help to do all this lining up stuff. So, all right, I'm going to back tack it again. Just going backwards a few stitches just to make sure that kind of locks the first couple stitches in place so they don't come out on us. So I'm careful going on that line. All right, let's remove this. Ooh, let's get my stiletto out. I like having my stiletto on hand. It's almost like an extra little finger or pin. And I'm just carefully going down the line here, little by little. All right, we're through that other point. Let's do our little back stitching again. All right, let's see how we did. All right, I'm going to snip the little ends off. All right, and then we'll press this open. And actually, we have to cut those extra pieces. So let's head back. Scooch these pins out of the way so they don't end up on the floor. And move these guys out of the way. Let's get the pressing mat out. Okay. So let's take a peek. Let's see how we did. Ah, look. So that matches so well. Ooh, that came out so good. What about the bottom here? Oh, that point looks pretty dang good too. All right, I am really, 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 really pleased with how well that matched up. So we have a lot more points. There's all these points that we're going to have to pay attention to when we sew them in. So we are not done with the points yet, but dang, that's a good way to start, I think. So all right, I want to press this open So I'm just going to finger press it for now. I'm pressing it open just so that there's not so much bulk on one side or the other. We're just gonna open it up. Then we actually later have access to this point a little bit better. I'm going to finger press it, and then since I don't want to iron on the side of my drawings here, I'm going to flip it around, but I did want to get that seam open first. All right, let's give this a smoosh. So now everything is pretty thick at this point, but we're just kind of squishing it down. All right, I'm trying to read your comments too. Ooh, finally got, ooh, you got the turkey lacers, DD, nice. All right. So I can't always see the comments right when they happen, so I am trying to read them. Let me click a few more here. All right. There we are. Oh, it looks fabulous. You can see I did a little bit better at that point than this point. I mean, this is so minute, but this side is just a tinsy hair up. You can sort of see that. That's not anything though. I mean, but just if we're looking at it, I think I got that point just a hair better. But look, that's looking amazing. I love it. We got the nice back now. So let's do those two sides. So we do have to cut out a couple more pieces of this fabric to stick on the side, and we need to put those on the side before we can sew them to the other pieces. So I looked up in the instructions, I think they're 4.5 by 4, but let's just do a double check. So I have the instructions open. I think I'm just going to skim. All right, 2 squares in the light pink measuring 4.5 by 4. Okay. 4.5 by 4, that's what I thought I read. Let's get back up to our pretty photo. Okay, so let's scooch that out of the side and we'll get this out. Actually, why don't we press it? 4.5 by 4. And you know what? I think it's probably, are these 2 4 inches? Maybe we can get it right here. So let's give this a good press. Got these weird folded over edges. This would be another opportunity to fussy cut if you really wanted, you know, like if you wanted like 2 big flowers next to the heart, you could find a really floral fabric and cut your square or your rectangle right on top of it if you wanted. Okay, I'm wondering if I can fold this and get both at once. I don't know if that's quite 4 inches, but it would be nice if it was. Let's get a ruler. Oh, just. Okay, great. So I'm actually going to press this just so it's a little bit easier. Just get a little press on the edge there. All right, now let's get the cutting board out. Oop, there goes a ruler. All right, let's trim. Let's trim this bottom edge first. This is kind of a goofy way. With all these blocks that we are doing for these like block of the month things, we use the fabric in such weird ways that, you know, it's not just the easiest simple cutout. We got to do it in parts really. So I'm just getting this edge nice. All right, and I do need a straight edge on this edge too. So this is our 4.5 inches. So I'm going to just line up the edge I just cut so it's nice, so it's squared up there. And I'm going to just trim this edge off. Okay. So now if I rotate all this, I should be able to get my 4.5 by 4 inch piece pretty easily. So, all right. Here and here are nice and square. So I have this 4.5 inch by 4.5 inch square. So let's do here like this. So 4 inches. Ooh, this is just big enough. So 4 inches this way, 4.5 this way. Good. I'll cut here and here at the same time. Okay, and I think that's all she wrote for all this fabric. This is the last little bit here. Okay, got all these scraps yet laying around. Okay, next up, we sew it to the sides here. But we have we have 2 more points that we have to deal with. So I don't need to put a pin in here because we're not lining it up with anything on this side, but I am, so this will be like this. Oop, there we go, like that. Oh, fun, it's got the same little pattern in there. I am going to, when I put the sides together, I am going to sew from this side. So here I can go right on the line, and I'm going to get it so my needle crosses right over where these seams cross there. So if I can get my needle sewing right along this line and get this, then I should have my, it should line up perfectly and not like clip the point. I don't want it like this, and I don't want it with too much left over, right? I want it right on that point. So that's the goal here. So let's put these right sides together. You know, it doesn't hurt to throw a clip in there either, so why don't we do that? We'll go down here. Okay, and let's see how we do. We'll do the one side, and then we'll sew the other side, and then we'll press the whole thing. You could press in the middle too, but I think this just saves us a step. All right, make sure the edges are matched. All right, let's do it right on that line and into the seam allowance still. Sorry, we're a little shaky. There we go. Do that little back tack again so it doesn't unravel on us. I'm still using that reduced stitch length because we are going to still have to pull all this paper out. And that reduced stitch length helps with making more perforation marks. Okay, I'm going right through that point. Let's hope that works. All right, and then back a little bit and forward. Snip. Okay, let's peek. Ooh, there we go. It's looking pretty good. I like it. That is not bad at all. Okay, so far we are winning on all of our points. So let's hope it goes as well for the rest of the time here. So here's our other side. Let's line those up. This is a very, like this right here looks like it should be a little baby quilt, doesn't it? Ugh, it's just cute. Cute, 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 cute. All right, lining up those edges again, and I think that was helpful having a clip there. All right, let's flip. And again, I want to get right through that point. Back tack, and there we go. All right, let's press this and see what we got. All right. Oh, you did the turkey lacers too, Luann. Ooh, you guys should share all your fun turkey lacers in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group. And what I'm talking about is my stiletto here. This is just a turkey lacer. So like literally, you know, to lace turkeys. So at Thanksgiving, you know, so if you have, it's in the grocery store, you should be able to find these, and just a few cute beads glued onto it, a little dab of glue at the bottom to hold them all there. I love it. It is my favorite stiletto. It's nice and pointy, it's small, you can get right in there. The flat bead, having a flat bead I think is really nice for holding it, but dang, they're nice little deals, these. All right, let's see how we did here too. All right, that's looking pretty dang good too. I'm digging the points. All right, so I think we'll just stay on this side here and get one side pressed open, and then we'll do the other. It's funny how the heat is changing the color of this pink solid, but then it goes back when it cools. Okay. Stage 1 of assembly I am calling complete here. All right, let's take a look. So now we got these two guys left. And I think there's a couple challenges on both sides here. So on this side, putting these together, we got a bunch of points, right? We got to match this point up and this point up. They're actually not matching, but we got to do the same thing we did here, like where we're sewing right through the X. But we have to do the same thing with this guy. So we have to kind of decide which one we want to do, and like what side do we want to see when we sew? Do we want to see through these points, or do we want to see this point and make sure we sew through this point? And honestly, I'm not quite sure what the right answer is. I'm kind of thinking, I mean, everything's kind of beaming down here. Maybe this is the more important point to sew through. I don't know. Let me know what you guys ended up doing for this. I'm curious. Hold on, I'm just scrolling through your comments a little bit more. Okay. So what we can do is I can, just as a guide, the side that I'm not going to be on, I can take a clip and I can mark like right where my meeting point is. So I can go right like this and know that that edge is where it should be, and it looks like it's not quite lined up here. So I think let's just shimmy around a bit. The other thing is this seam right here, this should match up. So why don't we do that? So we do actually have a point that we can match to. Right in the middle here, so where this line, we do have a match. So okay, I think I'm figuring it out. So this point right here, that is that center line, and it's the center line here as well. So you can't really tell from this side, but we are on that center line, and we're using this as a crossover. So this should go perfectly into this point here. And remember, this is where it's like a million layers thick. Like, look at all that. This is gonna cause us a little difficulty. I think it's even hard to push in. And I'm just going to look at the front and just kind of declare where that point is. I think I got to shimmy over just a hair. Trying to go straight in. All right, you know what? I think that's the best we're going to do. So let's match those points up. And luckily, I think I've glued this. Oh no, this one's not glued to the edge. I think this one might. Oh, maybe not. Well, that's fine. I'm just going to kind of line up these edges too. And actually, I might just clip these ends just so they don't flop around while I kind of maneuver here. So we're going to sew on this side of the heart where I can see this, because I did find a point that we can match up here. All right, and I'm going to need another clip for right in the middle there. All right, so the same thing. We got to do the we got to make sure that this angle is just right, because right now it was kind of like this, so that means this front edge is going to be shifted this way. So we do got to wrestle this and get it straight forward. And again, it needs to be straight from every angle. think let's shimmy it this way a little bit more. From the side, I think it's looking okay. And we gotta also make sure that our edges, our top edge is together, and we're in really floppy territory here, but I think right about there. I'm gonna lock it in place. There we go. All right, so I'm assuming that this part's good, and now I'm just gonna kind of undo these and go down these sides and just make sure everything is matched up, and I'm probably gonna throw a few more little clips in. So let's get one here. One at the end here. Since it is on that paper, it's a little slippery. It kind of wants to move around. Let's just rematch everything up here. All right, so this, I think, is going to be one of the most difficult parts, sewing this together, especially right when we get here. We're going to have to go real slow because there's such a mound there that it's going to want to push all over the place. So we're going to do our best. That's what we're going to do. And then this part down here is actually kind of difficult too, because we have 2 points that we're going to have to match perfectly. But that's no different than what we did on, or in the middle here. So we have a little practice from there. All right, let's do it. Scary part. Yep, Sherry, the hardest part. I agree that this is it. So, I mean, this pin method, I really, really recommend it versus just assuming that your sides are together and just going for it. So I won't be able to see this paper edge because I'm going on this side, so I can make sure to hit these 2 points on top of that point. But I'm just going to do my normal general 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then once we get to an actual image of it, I'll, shift a little bit to there. But it should be pretty close to it. I'm still going to do my little back tacking. Okay. Ooh, we get to take this out of the paper, or we get to take the paper off tonight yet too. Pretty excited for that. Ooh, my guy got stuck there a little bit. All right, now I'm gonna get on that line. Let's get the stiletto out here again. I just find it helpful. It's like my pointy little finger in there. All right, now I'm going on that line, and now remember, I gotta hit this point right here where these X's cross so that this heart point works. That's our point number 1. All right, I'm through there. Okay, now here's the tricky part right here. I'm just gonna remove this. Ooh, that was even hard to slide apart. I'm gonna use my stiletto to really try and hold this in place. I don't know how well we'll do on that, but we're trying. Might have to push it through a little bit. Ooh, ooh, or this sewing machine's just awesome. I don't think it didn't feel that bump at all. So nice, good old reliable sewing machine. All right, went through that second point. Wow, I think that felt a lot better than I thought it was going to. I thought it was going to try and shimmy and push around. Actually, I think on the other sewing machine it would have been a bit more difficult, but this guy's pretty hardcore, this old 40s machine. All right, let's do our little back tack again. Ooh, well, let's see if that was successful. Clip that, get this end right away. All right, I am gonna press this before moving on though, I think, just so everything's out of the way. And I just wanna see how we did. So let's get this guy down. All right, let's pull this open. Oh gosh, I thought I did it upside down for a sec, but hey, not bad. Okay, let's check these heart points. I can still see the points, happy about that. And this doesn't look half bad either. That looks like we did get it right on that seam line. So dang, I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, so let's do that open seam again, which, gosh, maybe I shouldn't even bother. Maybe I should just press the seam down because this has all that bulk. That's not gonna wanna be pushed back up this way. I think I'm gonna have to just press it down. And maybe that's in the instructions, I don't know. I only read to see what size this is. So I'm gonna go with where the fabric seems like it wants to go. And in this case, that's kind of downward. Yeah, definitely straightforward, the pin method, I think, Jocelyn. It's something you wouldn't think about, though, I don't think, like matching up those points. I know that I definitely wasn't doing that until someone told me about it, and I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, putting it together. All right, trying to squish this as flat as I can, but that's really coming together. Look how cool this is. Okay, I'm really excited about our points today. You know, sometimes it does not go as smoothly as what it is right now, but that's looking pretty dang good. All those coming in. We got our point here, got our point here, still got these points. Probably could push this point a little bit more. I think once I get all the paper out, this is going to relax a little bit more, so we might even have a little bit more than what we need for the points. But all right, I'm happy with that. Let's get our last piece on here. So this has two pretty clear points that need to match up. So that point has to match to this point. Then we got all this floppy around again. Okay, so this is the parts that I glued on. I knew I did that somewhere. All right, so nothing has to be lined up here or here. So really, it really is just these 2 points. I think we'll probably sew like this, just because then this piece is, then I can see both pieces versus like this where I'm only seeing the top piece. So I feel like I have more control this way. So I'm going to start on this side. Let's put that pin right through where all of our lines meet, our 1/4 inch and then our cross, and then like the same as before, I'm peaking. So I went a little bit low. I want it right in the middle of all this fabric, so I didn't mean to pull that out all the way, but let's kind of force it there. Okay, a little bit higher actually. There we go. Now I'm kind of in the crook of that little point, right? That's where I want to be. All right, so now let's match that with right sides together, sewing along this edge. Let's match with this point. So I can see this point, so I don't have to look at the back. So this is where I didn't line it up perfectly, so I'm going to kind of split the difference here, I think. There we go. Looking pretty good, I guess. So let's try and line up this edge, the top edge here. Putz with that, and I think, you know what? Let's get those clips in. That was helpful because we got a lot. It's so floppy. I just need them clipped long enough for me to shimmy around this pin, but I need these relatively aligned to do that. Okay, so again, let's get this pin straight. It's looking good. I think it's looking pretty good from that side too. Our edges match. All right, I think that's not bad. Let's clip. All right, now we can remove that. Now let's redo these. Let's just make sure that we're all lined up, and it is floppy, so let's get a few more in there. Same thing up here. Just want to peek past that paper and make sure everything's still aligned. All right, and then that's the real point there that we're going to pay attention to. All right, let's do it. Sewing right down our line. There we go. Okay. So floppy. It is weird for me sewing blocks this big because all of our projects have been so much smaller blocks. It's fun. I like it. All right, remove that first guy. So we will hopefully do this okay, and then we will press it, and then we will take out all the little paper pieces, and that's That part's nice because then it starts to feel like fabric again. I mean, we've been sewing on this foundation forever, this paper foundation. So, all right, let's remove that carefully. So it's stiff, it's paper-like, right? Once we take all this off, it feels like fabric again. Okay, this is thick here again, so I'm slowly trying to get through that point. Wow, and again, it's like nothing to this machine. That's good to know. All right, I was just thinking in my head this would be a horrible spot to run out of bobbin. I thought maybe I was premonitioning that, but good. I didn't run out of bobbin. Like over a perfect point like that, or like, you know, while you're trying to get 2 points to match perfectly, that would be horrible to have to reline up. Because I ran out of bobbin, but we're good. Okay. All right, so let's peek and then we'll press it open. Hey, not too shabby. I think we did a pretty good job there. All those points matching up. So let's flip this around. Gosh, again, I think it wants to just be pressed up like this, and I think I might just go with it. I know a lot of people like pressing open. Like I said, I don't know what the instructions said. Should have maybe read that far. Oh well. Ugh, it looks so good. Such a fun block. Okay, I can see that this wants to, it's not like the length anymore, so I wonder, this is that weird fabric. I think that'll loosen up a little bit. There we go. So this has a lot of thickness here, but I think that's mostly the paper. So we'll take the paper out and press this, and I think this point will get even nicer. But I am very happy with that. Look how pretty. Oh, I love these pink fabrics all together. Ugh, I am really, really happy and excited about this block. All right, let me just check your comments here. I know there's some questions. Am I going to quilt this one? I will for sure be quilting this as part of the process. So I would like to I will keep going with all of the projects that we're working on until they're done is what my hope is. So yes, I am hoping to quilt this. I have no idea what the plan for that is yet, though. With those super bulky seams, you like to just press whatever way the fabric wants. Mary, that's kind of where I'm at, too. So it seemed, especially up here, there's so much. It would have been really difficult for me to press the other way, but it just felt like it wanted to be this way. Like it physically wanted to just push that way, you know? Not just like a good feeling that it wanted to go that way. It physically wants to lay that way. And same thing here. So, you know, I'm just going to go with it. All right, you guys, let's take out this paper. That is always a little bit of a project, so I'm going to sit down again for that. All right, so you can start anywhere. I kind of find that if you pull on opposite angles, sometimes it helps gets it started, but that didn't. There we go. See, just pulling, then we get it started. And all of our pin, or like our sewing machine bits that we, like where it went through the fabric and paper, each of those made perforations, like little perforations. So we should be able to tear this pretty easily because we did a lot of those little perforations. You do want to be careful at this point, though, because you don't want to like yank a seam out that's just being stubborn or stuck or something. But once you get one side, then the other side comes out pretty easily. So I am being gentle. A lot of people recommend a tweezers at this point to really get some of these inside bits, and I always forget. So I don't have tweezers here. I do have one of these guys though. I could maybe use this to kind of get in on some of these little spots. I don't know. Let's see if it comes to that. But you can use a tweezers, a hemostat. That's what these guys are. I use these to like stuffed animals, or This is great for turning things inside out. You can grab a little piece and like lock it into place. These are fun little deals there for sure. So we'll see if I need that at all. But right now I'm just gonna carefully go little by little over this whole thing. We had parts that were glued down. This is where everything gets to be super messy too. With little pieces of paper everywhere. You know, this is one of those parts that I feel like I should like more than I actually do. It's kind of the same as putting on a label on a quilt for me. I feel like in my head, after you sew it together, it's like, yay, I'm done. But I'm not. I gotta do this whole step yet, which actually takes some time. So it's like, I thought I was done, but not quite. If you end up with like some little papers that you can't get out, I mean, the first time you get this in the wash, that's gonna just all kind of dissolve, all those little extra papers, I would think. So I don't worry about that so much. I try and get what I can. But we can try and pick out some of those a little bit. Let's get the big pieces off though first. Ugh, but it's floppy like fabric again. That's kind of nice. Thanks for hanging out with me again, you guys, especially on a Friday. It's always nice to see you. It does make a nice noise though, taking this out. That's some good ripping noises. I like it. Get this little guy here. So we have curfews here tonight in Minneapolis. That started at 8. So I'm anxious to see how that's going. We have the National Guard here this evening and police. So that's different than last night when there was nothing. So I don't know. I hope everything goes smoothly and no one gets hurt. It's making me a little nervous though tonight. All right. I'm not having very good luck at getting these little bits out, so I can still grab a few, I suppose. But let's work on this bottom area here. Let's get this heart. Again, we'll just tear out all these little pieces. Yeah, Kathy, it's just, it's all so sad. And I mean, like I said, I don't know what's going on out there right now because I'm with you guys. But right before I came on, they were lining up like Humvees, like giant, army Humvees, like 50 of them or more or whatever, just all in a row. And the buses were moving police to different areas, and people are just around watching and. So it was all sort of getting prepped for this, 8 o'clock curfew. So I hope no one gets hurt. That's what I hope. All right. Oh, these baby seams. Oops, I kind of tore into the seam a little bit there, but that's all right. Exactly, Noeline. All right. Oh, this has got that little bit of glue on. I could have kind of taken that glue off a little earlier. You know, once I sewed the first piece to the C1 or the one piece, once you sew the second piece, you can kind of pull away on that glue because now it's attached to the fabric by being sewn, but I just kind of forgot. So it's a little bit more attached than it needed to be. Yeah, my feeling is that it got their attention. I mean, burning a city, I'm hoping it gets some attention because attention wasn't being had in any other way. So I'm hoping that, you know, this helps move things into, you know, some sort of progress because, yeah, it needs to. And if it takes, you know, shops burning down, then that's what it takes. Those can be rebuilt. Yeah, I think we'll be, we're going to definitely be safe where we are. I'm not worried at all. I think John was saying that he would have liked to go down there, but, you know, there's COVID yet too, which is just, it's just... But we've been watching live all day and, you know, basically all night and yesterday, and we've just been keeping on top of everything. Yeah, you just want everyone to feel safe and okay, and not everyone gets that opportunity, so hopefully this helps. Ugh, we got some, you know, paper stuck in there in all these seams, so it's a finicky business taking all these papers out. It is satisfying though for it to feel like paper again. I do like that. I should just get just a tweezers, an extra tweezers, and just have it nearby me here. I have a feeling I'd use it more often than I think for a lot of these little bits. I might have to do that. A little pull, a little tug on that can help get it started here again. We're getting there. Got a middle piece and the top piece about done. Oh, got some little itty bitties here, but again, this would be the spot for a tweezers. Oh, look, got it. Good. Yeah, and a lot up in here yet, but this is just gonna relax more and more once it goes through the wash. Just trying to see if there's any paper stuck in there. I think that's the best I'm gonna get that. I mean, this is still our thick, crazy blob. All right. Who pays for the businesses to rebuild? So, I mean, any large business or lots of businesses have insurance. So I'm sure a lot of it is going to be insurance. I know there's already donations set up for some of the smaller local businesses. So that's good. And but yeah. We'll just have to see. It's an in progress situation right now for sure. All right, this time there's a little piece stuck in here. I'm going to see if I can snooker it out. There we go. A little bit. I don't want to pull too hard though. I mean, I'm trying to be gentle yet too because we don't want to pull our seam out, but now I'm getting finicky with these papers. I want them out. this seam allowance out. There's a really, gorgeous mural that someone made already where the incident happened with George Floyd. I mean, there's a lot of good in the neighborhood, and it needs to be seen. That's for sure. All right. 2 little bits left. Let's get it. Oh, glue on there. So let me know if you guys tried out, if you tried this out, the foundation paper piecing, and if you've done it before, and how you guys like this process. I just still think it's so fun to like magically make these super intricate designs. I love it. All right, there we go. All right, let's give this a final press, and then we will call it done. All right, let's get the back though first, because I want to get these seam allowances going in the right direction, kind of getting them going first. Squish. There, now we can see that point a little bit better. I mean, I gotta really get in there. And when we quilt this, I gotta make sure to try not to go over these really bulky points, because I'll probably break a needle. It's just a lot. I'm gonna try and get it this way a little bit, but I think we have a finished block here. Squish. All right, and here we go, you guys. Oh, I just love how this turned out. And here are the points. So, dang, I don't think we could have made that any better. Actually, I do have to say, I think I got the points better on this block than I've ever done on a paper piecing block before. I mean, we had a lot of points that we needed to knock out, and I don't know, it's looking pretty dang good, you guys. All right, I'm gonna flip you around and we'll call it an evening here. All right, hello again, everyone. So let's take a look at this. I think I'm a little shaky there. All right, there we go. Ooh, let's lay out all the blocks. Well, I don't really have a lot of space here, but we can kind of, yeah, you know what? I don't have enough space on my table to lay out all of the blocks, but we do have 5 done here now, and I'm excited. I don't know how I'm going to sew these together yet. Let me know what you guys over in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group, show me where you are with all your blocks, and if you have any ideas on how you're going to join them. Are you going to put a sashing in between them? That's like a little border in between all the blocks. Are you going to do quilt as you go? Are you going to sew them all together? I'm curious. So let me know. Let me know how that all goes. Let's see. I think I have a couple questions here. Oh, Catherine's asking, does my block measure 12 inches here? Well, you guys aren't here yet. I'm looking down. I'm measuring. It is, well, you know what? It is just a hair shy of 12 inches. So it's actually 12 1/4 this way. So I probably could have sewn a little bit better for the seam allowances. I should have maybe left, not trimmed it so close on the outer edges. So we're about just about 12 and a half wide and a little short, 12 and a quarter down. But I didn't check my templates when I did that. We looked at that a couple days ago. So those weren't perfectly put together. So I think I'm closer than I thought I was going to be. So we're not bad. We're still in that realm of being the 12 and a half inches. So 12 almost and a half and 12 and a quarter. I think we did okay. We'll have to just remember that once we sew. And there was so much bulk in these two areas that I'm thinking, with a first wash, it's going to release a little bit. So if I pull a little bit to get it to be the 12 and a half inches when I sew it to the next block, I think we'll end up being okay. I think it'll release itself a little bit. So I'm feeling good. So all right, you guys, June block is next. June's block. June will be released on the 15th. All the new blocks are released on the 15th of the month. Then my block is July. So July 15th will be that block. Next week is the new month already. So next week we'll be back on the Granny Square quilt. And that also means that the new embroidery of the month is coming out. So you have today through Sunday to get the Flower Garden embroidery of the month before it leaves the shop. And then the new one will come out on Monday, the 1st. So thank you guys again. I'm glad we were able to be both on YouTube and Facebook. You can watch the replays on either. And I will be here again on Monday. Have a great weekend, everyone. Good night.